Got a mic in the break room, cardboard box front row seat. Whiskers twitch, we tune the dial, tiny paws on the beat. Beans in a paper cup, names on a paper list. Every stray got a story and every scratch means this. Come on in, take a listen, hear that purr in the air. They've been waiting all week to tell you what they see there. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Yeah, the Shelter Cats Podcast. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Hurry it out, hurry it out. They got paws on the answers and a meow that won't quit. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Hurry it out, hurry it out.
Hello there, cat people. Dan the Catman here, along with Michelle the Meow Maven. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, guys.
You're looking as radiant as ever. And guess what? This is the 80th episode of the Shelter Cats Podcast.
That's incredible.
You want to know what else?
What?
It's our season 4 finale.
Yay!
We only did 10. It feels like this season has been going on for 3.5 years, but
It feels like it's been a very long season. That's funny. Yeah.
but it's only been 80. It's only been 10 episodes since December, but 10
Yeah.
high quality, slickly produced, perfectly edited Take a Bow Jake episodes.
Yeah.
So here we are, the season 4 finale, and we had a couple. We had like 8 different season finales planned, didn't we? We were going to do a Q&A. We were going to do a panel on harassment in the animal rescue field. We had all these different ideas, and you were the one that said, hey, why don't we just have an episode where you and I banter and we read some responses on social media? And it was
Yeah.
like the clouds parted and the heavens opened up. So here we are. Two pieces of business I wanted to do before we get to the episode. As always, our website is sheltercatspod.com. Jake will have it at the top. You will find all the links to the platforms we're on, all the resource links from past guests that you have so amazingly organized. And by the way, Michelle did the website herself, took it upon herself. So thank you, Michelle. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
All the resources grouped by type of resource. You'll see pictures of my cats. You'll see pictures of Michelle's cats and merch. We have all kinds of great merch. Merch. It's Memorial Day weekend. So, we also honor those that gave their all so that we may be free. But that also means Father's Day is not too far away. So I can't think of a better thing to get your father than a merch from the Shelter Cats Podcast. Can you?
No.
Do we have a necktie?
I don't think we do. I mean, not at the moment, but I could see what I could do about that.
I wonder if people still give neckties to their fathers for Father's Day. I know I did when I was a kid. Do you think people still do that?
I think we gave neckties. I feel like we gave my dad suspenders. He used to wear suspenders all the time.
That's awesome. I
Socks,
tried once.
no.
I tried once and they felt so weird. I was like, I got to put a belt on. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, go to sheltercatspod.com for all that good stuff and merch. Makes a great gift any time of the year. And for the first time on the Shelter Cats Podcast history, I'm going to clarify something I said in a previous episode.
Okay.
So I won't be long, but I feel like I should clarify the following. So on the previous episode, 79, which you were with me as always, in reference to the need to have the help of a cat behavior expert, I said the following sentence. I said, and I quote, "More often than not, you're the problem, not the cat." I want to clarify that sentence. Do I have to? No, but I feel like I should. It was suggested by someone. And first of all, we love feedback. We want all your feedback. Good, bad, ugly, pretty, beautiful. We love the feedback that we get. So please don't be shy. You disagree with something I say. If you disagree with something Michelle says, even though she's rarely wrong, please reach out to us. She's like, of course I'm not. Please send us an email, post a comment. We want to hear it. We love all feedback. But it was suggested that that comment may have been insensitive and may have been throwing cat owners under the bus. by suggesting that the issue is them, not the cat. I want to clarify something. We love cat owners, right? We love
Yep.
everyone that adopts a cat. We're here because we think more people should be adopting shelter cats.
Absolutely.
We want more people to experience the joy of owning a shelter cat. You know, I've owned a bunch. Michelle has her Eddie Ann is from a shelter, from a rescue. She rescued Munchichi, was a rescue from the streets. You know, we love people that adopt cats, and we understand that not every cat is going to be perfect. You know, for example, your cat Monday, we did a spotlight on your cat Monday, and she had some behavior issues.
She had some serious behavior issues. Yes, she did. Yep.
You know, go back to that episode, and you'll be able to hear Michelle go into detail about what that was. My second cat, Tiger, if I remember, I'll ask Jake to put a picture of him. This is Tyler, my first cat. My second cat, Tiger, had the following glaring behavior issues. One, if the litter box wasn't spotless, he would go to the front door and pee on the mat I had by the front door. The same spot over and over again. So if he used the litter box, I would have to immediately clean it out spotlessly. Otherwise, he would look at it, sniff it, go to the door, and do his business over there. One. Two, if he didn't like any guest that I had over, he would walk up to their feet and take a big steaming dump right at their feet. And this was, 18 years ago. At the time, if I had been made aware of cat behavior experts, I may have consulted one. I did consult my vet, just to make sure there were no health issues.
Right.
He just said, listen, he wants you all to himself. That's what my vet suggested. He wants you all to himself, so you just have to make some adjustments in how you have people over and just make sure the litter box is clean. So when I said more often than not, you're the problem, not the cat, what I meant was more often than not, you may have to make an adjustment in how you live with this cat in order to help with those issues.
Yep.
It's not you're the problem as in there's something wrong with you. It's just more often than not, you may have to make some changes in how you live with this cat to accommodate those potential issues. So that's what I meant. I wanted to do a little clarification. We would never, ever, ever, ever suggest that anyone who owns a cat is a bad person. Shelter cats do amazing things. There's one right now. There's Eddie Ann.
Eddie Ann.
And she's beautiful, and she needs to be involved in everything.
Yes, she does.
Michelle is on her breast cancer journey. When a few episodes back, we did a check-in with you, and what did you say when the chemo hit you and you were in bed or on the couch? You couldn't function. Your cats surrounded
they
you
were
and comforted.
on my side. They surrounded me. The three of them. One would be on me, depending on the time of day or the day. I would have one, I could have all three on me, that's always fun. But they were around me, and this one is my specifically my cancer kitty, because I got her the day after I got my diagnosis. I picked her up and she came home with me. So she's my little cancer kitty. My cancer care kitty. I should say my cancer care kitty.
She's your live-in nurse.
Yeah.
We love shelter cats, and we love people that are able to adopt a shelter cat. As I've spoken about, my Tucker, and again, if I remember, Jake put the picture up, literally kept me from taking my own life by putting his face on my face when he sensed I was very, very sad and very, very desperate going through a bad breakup. He took it upon himself to just rest his head on my face, and it immediately snapped me out of whatever doldrums I was in. So we love people who adopt shelter cats, and we do not judge anyone that may need to consult a cat behavior expert. So that aside, speaking of check-ins, it's been a while. It's been a few months since we've checked in with you.
Yep.
on your breast cancer journey. So can you give us an update on where you are now? It's May 24th, so it's almost a year.
Well, July 3rd last year was the actual diagnosis. So I had the mammogram in May, sonogram in June, sonogram and biopsy in June, and then the diagnosis was July 3rd. So yeah, we're coming up on a year.
Oh, wow.
I know. But no, actually, everything is going really, really well. I mean, I'm still wearing a wig today, but Dan and I were chatting before. My hair is growing back. These are my eyebrows. They have started to come back. Thank God.
Hey,
I was honestly
awesome.
more. I more wanted the eyebrows to come back than the head hair, because the head hair I can throw a wig on. You know, you can't throw a wig on your eyebrows. You can draw them in, but that takes so much time. But anyway, yeah. So the hair is coming back. It's doing its thing. I'm waiting patiently. I'm curious to see what sort of color it's going to be when it comes back in. So that remains to be seen. But no, things are going well. I finished. I don't remember where we were when where I was at the last time we chatted. But I
It
finished
was just
chemotherapy.
you were having your. I think you were just about to do your last chemo.
Okay, so I finished chemo in the end of February, and then I had radiation for 3 weeks. That was throughout March into the beginning of April. Well, started in mid-March into the beginning of April, and then the radiation is over. But I'm still having immunotherapy, and that goes on through the end of the year. That's once every 3 weeks. It's the same schedule that I was on for the chemo. Actually, this had started, I was doing this with chemo, so I was doing 4 drugs at a time, 4 infusions. Now I'm doing 2 infusions, so it's just the chemo drugs have been eliminated from my my treatment. And this is as really a walk in the park. This is like,
You still have to go. You have to go somewhere for
yeah,
this
yeah.
immunotherapy and get it injected into you.
I have a port. My port is still there. So I had this, you can see it in the video, but I had a
Okay.
port, and that's what I got all my infusions with from the beginning. So this has been there since beginning of end of September, beginning of October, and this will be there until the end of the year, when after my immunotherapy is done. But yeah, that's everything really at this point is going very well. I am physically able to, I'm starting to get myself back out there and do physical exercise again. I'm doing runs, so no, at this point everything is going, really well, to be honest. I have, when you're dealing with cancer and with the treatments, really sometimes the treatments are harder than the cancer. They're harsher on your body than the cancer. So the chemo and the immunotherapies and the radiation all have a way of having their own impact on your body. So one of the big things that you have to keep an eye out for is heart disease, is making sure that you're not going into heart failure, to be honest, because it can have that impact on your heart. So I've had several echocardiograms the way that they test that is they do an echo before you start treatment, during treatment, and then after. So I did all 3 of those. When I finished up the test after the treatment, they did notice some of my numbers had decreased. So I went a couple weeks later, went for another echo. Everything kind of stayed the same, but now I'm on like this regular monitoring of my heart to make sure that it doesn't go below a certain function. If it goes below a certain function, then I'm considered to be in congestive heart failure, and we don't want that to happen. So, so that's
no.
no. So that's something you keep an eye out for. I did recently go for a sonogram and an updated mammogram, and they noticed some calcifications in the same breast where I had the cancer. So we're going to do a biopsy on those. Those can be natural. They can just be caused by age, but they can also be a precursor to cancer. And considering my history, they're being overly overly cautious. Yeah. The term, and I've used this term a couple of times. The term that the radiologist used after when she was giving me the overview of the results of the mammogram, she said, we are specifically making mountains out of molehills. So that's what I'm sorry. I have like fur all over my face from the 5 minutes that she was in my lap. But
That's part of having a cat.
Yeah. So I have to go in for another biopsy for that. That's actually going to be this week. It's really at this point, it's just constant. It's monitoring. It's being aware of, me being aware of everything that's going on in my body and communicating with my doctors if something comes up. you know, that's really where it's at right now.
How's the appetite on that? You were talking about a bitter taste and nothing
Oh yeah,
tasted right.
yeah. So
How's
really,
that?
after a few weeks of chemo, after chemo was over, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks after chemo was over, I got my taste all back.
Oh,
So my
awesome.
taste is fine now. Um, but I did go and my appetite is decent, but I did go back on, which I had started early last year, a GLP-1 for weight loss because I'm way too overweight. I need to lose weight. Um, so I did go back on that, and that's an appetite suppressant too. So it's like, so now, you know, but I have my taste, but you know, my appetite is really low. So I'm working on getting myself to a healthier weight. So
And it's okay to be on one of those
yeah, I got the clearance. I
GLPs
got the
with everything
clearance.
else.
Yeah, I got the clearance from all
Okay.
my doctors. It's just I couldn't do it while I was on chemo again because chemo is an appetite, so it can be an appetite suppressant. All the chemicals, all the, you know, the medications and everything can have a real impact on your body, and they want to make sure that you're eating everything that you're getting the nutrients that you stay healthy throughout treatment. So once the chemo was over, she cleared me to go back on this because it wasn't really going to be much of, you know, you don't want to have like that double appetite suppressant because then because then I would never eat, you know.
I understand. Okay.
But yeah, no, I got the clearance from my oncologist,
Cool.
from my main doctor, from, you know, everybody said it's good to go. So I'm back on it. So yeah, so that's where we're at.
I'm going to say it again. I admire the hell out of you for your positivity, your drive, the whole how you've been so public and social media savvy about your journey. You even have your own merch related to your journey with "You Got This" on it. We always have links to her TikTok in the description, so please follow her TikTok and her Instagram for your journey. I admire you. I could never. Men can get breast cancer.
Yeah, they can.
You know, at my heaviest, I did have man boobs. It is possible. I would never be able to handle it and do what you did. You know, I know you've been on a bunch of runs lately,
Yep.
so you'll see her talk about that on her social media. I admire the hell out of you. You're a source of inspiration. Like they should, in years from now, somehow they should teach people this is how you should handle going through this kind of, you know, not just breast cancer, any kind of disease like that where there's a fight and you have to go through a process. I'm not just saying it because you're my co-host. I really do admire how the positive, constructive way you went through this. I think
Well,
people could really learn from you.
I
And
I do want to clarify something in that too, though, because it's so first of all, whether you have man boobs or not, you could still possibly get breast cancer. You don't have to have actual tissue there. It's about the hormones, not the tissue, because you can
thank
still
you.
get it in the
Thank you.
area. So just it's just to
You
clear
you
that up.
know that's what I mean. You know this better than me.
But um, coming into cancer, coming into the diagnosis last year, my entire life, you know, I've always not. It's horrible to say because I don't want to like negate anything, but like I always look at things. I've had this ability to really put things into perspective where I don't necessarily. And it's not to say I don't react to things because I do, and there are times
Of
I
course.
overreact. There are times I get super angry. I get super emotional, whatever it is. But in general, I don't overreact to things. I have this. I've been able to categorize things and you know, kind of put a lot of stuff into perspective. And it's because, you know, I don't want to go into all of it, but I had a large trauma that happened in my family early on in life, but I don't want to go down that conversation now. But because of that, I'm able to take everything else kind of in life and, you know, figure out, okay, well, it's not as bad as this other thing. It's not as bad as this other thing.
Right.
And I know that, and again, as soon as I got the diagnosis, I had an emotional reaction. I was very, it really hit me very hard. And if you go back and look at my very first video that I did, it was really the first time I ever made a video for TikTok, was my first video announcing that I had my diagnosis. I was super emotional and super down, and you know, it was, and there's different points along this way that get to me. Even now, after being done with chemo, being done with radiation, knowing I have to deal with this whole heart monitoring thing, which I knew going into it. You know that the heart disease can be a possibility, but it's like, okay, God, all right, now then those numbers are now. Now we have to watch that. Now I'm on another medication. Now I'm on this. Now it's like this constant thing. So when, like that day when I was kind of scheduling my appointments and stuff, my upcoming tests, that got me down because it's like, God damn it, this just doesn't stop. you know, so
Right.
I feel like I need to be clear because I owe it to other people that are fighting with this that yes, positivity is great and positivity will get you very far, but it's not a requirement. And if you have fear, if you have sadness, if you're depressed, all of those things are important to experience as well because you shouldn't suppress what you're feeling. So a lot of times people will say to someone going through, a life-threatening, potentially life-threatening or a chronic illness, whatever it is, oh, you got to stay positive. You got to stay positive. But you don't have to stay positive. You have to stay true to what you're feeling. And that I just think that's very important because, I am in general pretty positive about it because I do know that there are treatments. I know that there's a plan in place for me. I know that there are things that I'm actively doing, that my doctors are actively doing to make sure that that I don't get this again, that this doesn't come back for me. So I feel good about that. I feel good that I have a good team, but there's people that don't have as good of a team. There's people that don't have the health insurance. There's people, and in the face of all that, if you can't stay positive in that, no one's going to blame you. If your diagnosis is different than mine was triple positive, triple negative breast cancer is a whole different thing, and there's all different variations, and some of it is not as optimistic, some of it is not as treatable as mine. So if you can be depressed within that, you can be just like be yourself. And I don't want to go on too much about that, but I just don't want people to think that like you need to be positive 100% of the time because you don't. You need to be genuine and feel what you're feeling.
I understand.
Yeah.
I just appreciate how open and honest and raw, blunt honesty you've been through this whole thing.
Trying.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
I really do think people could learn so much from how you dealt just what you just said. It's okay to feel things. It's okay to be annoyed. It's okay to whatever.
Yeah.
I think people could learn from that because I would just be angry. You think I'm angry now? You think I'm a bitter old man now? I would be twice as angry. You'd be like, listen, I can't talk to you anymore. It's just because that's just how I am. But even just watching your TikToks, I've learned something from it. So
Okay.
my point is, you're a
thank you.
source of inspiration. You're just gonna have to accept the compliment. You're a source of inspiration, and I thank you for being so open about. You didn't have to be. You could have just gone away and dealt with it on your own with the cats.
Yeah.
But you chose to expose this to everyone so everyone could go understand what you personally are going through. And I think it's a source of inspiration. I really do. So thank you for doing that. And follow her TikTok, buy her merch, because
Thank you.
God damn it, we love you, Michelle.
Thank you, Dan. We love you too.
We have a pretty shitty social media strategy, and that's my fault because I don't know. Some things hit, some things don't. It's mostly my cats, sometimes it's your cats. But whenever we ask for feedback on social media, we get a lot of responses. Just a simple question, and it turns into content because it's just so. We ask simple questions, and you guys out there are so great with how you respond across all our platforms. So on the website, you'll see the links to all of our socials. We really do appreciate, all the support and the following and the comments. So that being said, I'm going to use my phone again. We asked the question a few months ago already, and we've been hanging on to this for a while. We asked the question, who was the first cat you ever adopted? Because I thought it would be a great way for people to, you always remember the first cat you ever adopted. Just like you remember the first kiss you ever had or the first relationship you ever had. not as fondly as the first cat. So I'm going to ask you first. Tell us the first cat you ever adopted.
Well, funny enough, I don't remember my first kiss either. So, so
Wow. Really? Okay.
I'm an experience it, do it, forget about it kind of gal. But anyway, so I believe the first cat I remember us having, and I'll be honest, I don't even remember where we got it from. I just know that we got it. My parents got this cat, and I look, I was very young, probably 10 or so, something like that. I wasn't involved in the acquisition of the cat. The cat just showed up at home one day.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, I do remember there being confusion as to whether or not the cat was a male or a female. So when we first got it, there was thought that I don't remember which order it went, but at one point it was female, one point male. So we would name it, we named it Sylvia, and then we named it Sylvester. And then we...
I love that. Yeah.
So it was,
go either
if we
way.
did figure out for the name, it was a gray cat. I remember it had like a little white, just a little kind of small white dot on its bib here. It might have had white socks. I don't really remember, but it was, an overall gray cat. So eventually we just wound up calling it Silver because we were just never sure. So, and I had this cat through elementary school, probably up through, it was either 7th or 8th grade, something like that. And this was an indoor-outdoor cat. And unfortunately, Silver got out, used to get into fights all the time, and came home one time and had an abscess on his head. Its head. His head, her head, its head.
Yeah. Its head.
And again, I wasn't necessarily involved in the care of the cat. It was my parents, and I have like such very little memory of like vet visits and getting diagnosed and things like that. I do have one memory of the cat separate from it getting an abscess. I have one memory, and for whatever reason, I don't know why I did this, but I remember the cat came in the room and I thought, well, wouldn't it be funny if let me see what happens if I pretend that I choke to death. I don't know. I was a weird little kid. What can I tell you? And I
Okay.
I just remember going, and then like kind of like falling back, and the cat and Silver coming to me and like with its teeth like pulling on my shirt, like, hey, wake up, like trying to wake me up. And I just that was, I don't know, just that's the one good memory I have of that cat. And then at one point, from the abscess, the cat just got sicker and sicker. And I remember I would come home from school and the poor thing would be in our bathroom. Like we had a little bed kind of set up for it because it just felt cozy in the bathroom for whatever reason. So it would just be in the bathroom. And then it's so horrible. And I came home from school one day and the cat was gone. And I was so upset. And I found out that my dad had brought it to the vet to have it put down because it was so, far gone, which,
Right.
Now I know that was absolutely the right thing that he did to bring it and have it put down. But I was so devastated because I didn't get to say goodbye to Silver. I didn't know he was bringing the cat in. So I never got to say goodbye to this cat that I'd had for however many years, 10 years probably. I was mortified. I was inconsolable for so long. But, again, knowing, it was absolutely, the cat really should have been put down, and they probably let him go a little bit longer than it should have been. But, yeah, so that was Silver. That was really the first cat that I remember getting and having what I would consider, because my parents would never have gotten them from a pet store or anything. It was certainly from someone's litter, from friends of the family's litter or something to that effect, must have been. And just I remember the cat just being there and us debating whether or not it was a male or female, and quite some time. Silver, no, so
I guess it was hard to
look, I don't
confirm
know.
visually.
I guess. Maybe it had been fixed prior. I don't really know.
Some of them it's not easy. I will grant you that. Some
Yeah.
of them are like, hey, wow. Some of them it's not easy to tell. I can completely understand.
Yeah, but I did. I loved that cat. Like I said, he was very special to me because it came in, trying to save my life. It's to come out to save my life.
Yeah, I mean, you faked it, but still, the cat didn't know.
Yeah. Right,
When
exactly.
you fake, I'm not gonna. I want to go on a tangent about you faking passing out, but I'm gonna stop myself because I definitely have some questions about that.
I,
Um,
I couldn't
I'm not
answer them
gonna
if
do it.
you'd throw them at me. I couldn't even give you
There's
an answer.
100 questions just popped up in my brain. You did, but we're already at the half hour mark, so I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
Okay.
My first cat was him, Tyler. Uh, I was around cats. My great aunt and uncle had a lampshade store in Brooklyn. There was a time when you could go buy lampshades for your lamps or have them refurbished. Now you just go to Target or you order it online or Walmart. But there was a time where you'd keep your lamps for decades and you just change the lampshades. So they had an entire store. They would make the lampshades, they would sell the lampshades. And my great uncle, my grandmother's brother, loved cats and had a whole colony in the back of the store in Brooklyn, on Avenue U in Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn. Anyway, he built shelters for them, and there was a cat door, and they'd come in and out, and you'd see them popping out of the lampshades when anyone would come visit. I begged my. It took until I was in my late 20s, after begging my whole life to have a cat. I finally said I was at the point where I was about to move out within like 6 months to a year, and I said I'm getting a cat. I'm old enough. I'm responsible. I'm getting the cat. And I went to Little Shelter in Suffolk County, Long Island. I think they're in Northport. We had them on an early episode. And the early episodes are me reading, this used to be a blog. So the early episodes are me reading the story of how we met Tyler. So please do go back to those early episodes where I sound like a robotic AI version of the curmudgeon host I became. But I got him at Little Shelter. He was the first cat to walk up to me at Little Shelter, and basically he said, "I'm going home with you. You don't really have a choice in the matter."
How old was he, Dan, at that point? Was he a full-grown cat or a kitten?
He was like a year and a half.
Okay. All right.
He had had a home, and they brought him back, and then he was adopted. So the shelter said he was adopted and brought back because he didn't get along with the other cats,
Yeah.
and he was fully declawed at the shelter,
yeah.
front and back, all four declawed. That's not even legal anymore.
Right.
But at that point, somebody at a very young age had declawed him. He thought he had claws his entire life. He would take swings at you, and he's like, "Yeah, that hurts, right?" Uh-huh. He thought he had claws, but he didn't. So he came home with me, and he lived with me for almost 14 years.
Aw.
He went through several apartments with me, several relationships, ups and downs in my life. Many years it was just he and I. He was the best judge of character of any being on this planet. I dare you to find a human that is as good a judge of character as a cat. Cats are very good judges of character. If I dated someone, if he didn't like them, he was right every single time. I even have this mouse pad. This is a very famous pose. This was the summer of 2003. I walked in the living room. He was sitting like this in the recliner, and I happened to have a camera with me, and I got this shot. It's just like one of those caption this kind of things.
He just needs a remote control in one hand and a beer in the other.
Exactly. He made it to this where I live now. He was 15 by that point, and last year of his life he had respiratory issues and cancer, and he passed away under my bed in August of 2014. So he was already 15, and not funny story, but I actually did pass out. I was in a car accident the last month of his life when my car was totaled. I came home. I thought I was fine. The next morning, I thought I could go to work, and I literally did pass out in my kitchen. I was getting a drink for myself, and all of a sudden, I'm out. And he did run over to me like, "Are you dead?
Aw.
Are you dead?" So they do that,
Yeah.
whether real or acting in your case.
I guess I was an actress from early on.
All good. We'll talk offline. But We are here today because of him. We have this show
Yeah.
because of him, the blog because of him. When he passed, I started writing about him because I thought he was worthy of like his memory being perpetuated. So we're here today because of him. So that's my first cat. And he wasn't perfect. He was not a lap cat. He sat on my lap maybe twice for about a second and a half each. He would cuddle next to me.
Yeah.
Not a lap cat, but you could pick him up and hold him on his back, like you do sometimes with yours. You could hold him on his back and stand by a window, and he'd look out, laying on his back on you.
Aw.
He loved being held. He loved being brushed. And as you know, he loved beer and vodka and Bananas Foster. You know, he was the one. He loved booze. He loved booze. So, you know, he was one of a kind. If I smoked cigars, he would probably smoke a cigar. So those are our cats. And now I'm going to grab my phone. So we have the screenshot. And I'm going to read some of your responses and react to them. So first one, and thank you, by the way, everyone. We went to PetSmart to buy fish food, saw Theo, and asked to meet him. They said we were the first people that he let hold him. Took home fish food and a cat. He's the best boy.
Aw.
I was a toddler. Not sure how he got her, but I named her Baloney because I love bologna.
Oh, I love that name. I love that name. That's great.
Emmett, he was adopted as a kitten, and he was my best friend until he passed away at age 29. I miss him so very much.
Oh my gosh, 29. That's incredible. My Monday was
29.
about 20, and she was with me through so many things. I mean, so many life changes and moves, and I can only imagine a 29-year-old cat. I mean, that cat
29,
seen
that's
some
incredible.
things. What was the name of the
Emmett,
29-year-old cat? Was it Emma?
Emmett,
Emmett.
Emmett. Emmett. So my very first ever cat as a kid, my parents went and got her for me and swapped her for a box of plums. Her name was Holly. Now, you know, some shelters charge a fee of money. Some people, some fruit. She was a ginger and white. I don't think we had any pictures of her, as this was the late 90s. She was a lovely girl.
Oh.
So hope those plums were good. I adopted Chloe in the summer of 2020. She was 3 years old and done mothering her 3 kittens and with a foster parent. There was a family meeting a day before, and they decided to go with the kitten instead of an adult cat. I met her and loved her instantly. Took her home that day, and she's been the sweetest and friendliest cat ever. She was underweight and not very fluffy, but after being with me for a couple of weeks, she gained weight and a very healthy coat. So that's Chloe. 1971,
Oh, goodness.
before our time. A young male wandered into our yard and stayed for 18 years. We named him Casey, Casey, /KC, as in the Sunshine Band, / Kitty Cat. So this cat was named Casey, KC, Kitty Cat. He was a great cat and the first of 6. We've had at least one cat in the house for the past 55 years. Wow.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I was in my early 30s. I had a boyfriend I had been with for about a year. I was totally sick of him, the boyfriend. One day he brought me a little gray tabby cat, Molly. I had never had a cat before, but I liked Molly a lot. She was about a year old. A couple of weeks later, he ended a pitiful relationship with us and dumped me. I liked that cat a lot better than I liked him. I have since had 8 more cats and I've adored them all. We don't blame you one bit.
Not
Cats
one
are
single
better.
bit.
My dad found 2 abandoned kittens that needed bottle feeding 37 years ago. They lived around 12 years. Okay.
Good for Dad.
Good for Dad. I had adopted an 8-year-old black cat named Pebbles from SPCA after my dad passed away for my sister and I. Pebbles was always my girl. She was with me through thick and thin. She was my soulmate. She changed my life. She lived to be 24. I love and miss her to this day. Let's see. Cricket. He was a kitten from the neighbor's cat.
Cricket?
This Cricket.
Cricket.
And this one, her name was Pooh Bear because she was playing with a small little Pooh. I received her from my sister. She was a complete joy.
Oh, I love the names. That's like I think one of my favorite things is hearing the names that people come up with for cats. It's really, it's all over the map, and it's just beautiful. It's hysterical and beautiful.
Really are. There's so many of these responses. Let's see what else. We had several. Here's a very long story. We had several cats growing up. One of my favorite cats was my Daisy, who my mom found in a newspaper ad for puppies. The puppies were for sale, but it said free cat on the bottom. We took her in because we were having a mouse problem, and her first night with us, she caught a mouse. She ended up living to be 15, with 13 of those years with us. The first cat I adopted that I wanted came a few weeks after we said goodbye to Daisy. I was a pizza delivery driver at the time, and on this particular day, I delivered a pizza to this house with a bunch of kittens. There was a single tuxedo kitten among the bunch, and she had a very pretty face. I knew I wanted her. Her name was Luna, and she's now 4 years old.
Oh,
That's really cool.
yeah.
My first cat was Newcomb. She played catch, and my son loved her. Let's see.
Eddie Ann catches treats. When I throw treats, she literally will catch them in her paw in the air and eat them. Not all of them, but like one through each episode of treat throwing, she'll catch it. And it's just spectacular. And I have to try and record it sometime.
You really do. So that's just some of the. There's so many responses, so that's just some of them. Just incredible stuff.
Can I do a request, Dan? Can I ask that people, if you want to, if people are interested, and I'm sure you'll be on board with this, Dan, can you guys send us some of your photos? Because I'd love to get some of the photos up on the website. We'll do like a whole section for listener pets, and we can get some up on the website. So
That's an awesome idea. Yeah, please send us your pictures.
yeah, and don't forget your name if you are open to having your name, but most certainly the cat's name, and I'll try to get that information. I'll try to get that all up there. I can't promise you it'll be within a week, but it'll happen eventually. So yeah, so get us some of your photos, and we'll get them up on the website.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there were so many other responses. I can go on for hours, but thank you all so much for your amazing feedback. And like Michelle said, send us photos and she'll get them on the website because we have our cats, so we'd love to share share your cats as well. So definitely do that. You could email them to us. You could post it on. You could message us through our socials with whichever way you want to do it. And we always have those links in the podcast description as well as the website. So that is season 4. Honestly, I can't thank you enough, Michelle, for everything that, it was a tumultuous season. It was a triumphant season. It was a great season.
Yeah.
Definitely a couple of ups and downs, but it was a wonderful season. 10, jam-packed episodes. We had some great guests.
Oh my gosh.
Jackson Galaxy, our first vet, Amy from Aruba, Hard Hat Cats. We had so many great guests. So thank you to all the guests that were with us. We already heard from a couple of potential guests for our next season. We're going to take the summer off at least. Take some time off because we've been continuously doing this since the fall of 24. Between season 3 and 4, certainly I have. We did between season stuff, so it's been a while. I need a break. I know you need a break. So we're going to take the summer off, and we'll be back after a while for season 5. Don't know exactly when, probably later in the year, but we're going to get together as a team, you and me. I cannot leave. We cannot end this episode without thanking Jake.
Yeah.
Our amazing, fabulous editor. You'll see his picture on the website. He has the greatest beard I've ever seen in my life. I'm
Is
jealous
that
of
why
his
you
beard.
decided to grow yours, Dan? Did you have beard
It's a
envy? Is that what it?
I had beard. I could never, mine ends up looking like Captain Lou Albano after a while. Like this goes down, and
You
I
definitely
always
have
wonder
a
should
very
I?
like a distinguished gray on both
Yeah,
sides there. Yeah.
he's got this. That Jake, don't ever shave the beard. We love the beard. So you'll see Jake, but Jake, thank you so much for you know all you do, the editing. You've made it look so much more professional. It's not easy to make me look professional because I'm not, and you make us look amazing. So thank you, Jake, for all you've done. And one last little thing before we sign off. Be kind to one another. That's kind of the thing I want to leave this off with. Especially in the cat rescue world, it's a very social media centric universe, the cat rescue world, because social media is a tool to raise money. It's a tool to show the cats that you have for adoption. It's a tool to share what you do. It could also be a tool for negativity and bullying and harassment and all sorts of bad things. We live in a very polarized society right now, especially this country. We don't do politics. I don't share I share memes on our social media, but I don't share political memes on purpose because who you voted for. We don't care. We care that you care about the cats. We don't care who you voted for. It's just right. We don't. The cats are the most important thing. But we all have our opinions about things. We all come from different walks of life, and we all have our way of thinking about things and our way of handling things. And I think there's room for everybody in this cat rescue community. So what I wanted to leave off with is be kind to one another. If you see something online that somebody said that you disagree with, I want to leave you with this piece of advice. If you see something you disagree with and your first instinct is to respond on social media and grab that keyboard and start typing, or grab your phone and start typing, my advice, take a second, go on Too Good To Go, which is one of Michelle's favorite apps, go get some pizza, go take a break, put the keyboard down, go get some fresh air, go Too Good To Go, some pizza or whatever food you like, pour your favorite beverage, Diet Coke for me, something else for you, and think the following. I disagree with what I just saw, but does that really help the cats if I respond to something negative with more negativity? Because at the end of the day, the cats are the most important thing, and that's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to find homes for cats in our own way, in our own little corner. Our corner, we talk about it. Your corner, you do rescue for it. So I think we should try to be more kind to one another. What do you think? Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I think kindness is definitely in order. And you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but everyone does things in their own different way. The way I don't personally rescue cats. Dan, you don't personally rescue cats, but we are friends with, and we are in, we are in communities with many, many people that do different levels of rescue, from just
Yeah,
fostering
we
up to full on, sanctuaries that have hundreds of cats in them. It's all different kinds. And there are so many different ways to do it, so many different methods. And it's not to say that my way is better than yours or your way is better than mine. If at the end of the day a cat's life is saved and a cat is in a warmer place than it was the day before, or a safer place, or is getting food and it didn't have it before, that's what matters. How we got to
absolutely.
that situation, it may differ, and it most likely will differ. But as long as even any animal, dogs, a lot of people that do cat rescue are also involved in other different kinds of rescue. I see so many videos
Right.
of people rescuing, bunnies. Actually, today I got a whole stream of people rescuing, this guy rescuing octopuses. So, people are rescuing all kinds of animals. And it's about what's in the heart. It's about how those animals are saved at the end of the day. The fact that those animals are saved at the end of the day. That's it. That's my
Rescuing octopuses or octopi. Yeah, I could not agree more. At the end of the day, if your first instinct is to respond with anger and with venom online, or angry email, angry text, angry social media post, my advice is put the keyboard down, take a minute, distract yourself from that, and then come back to it. And just think the following: is that going to help more cats find homes? Is that going to help get more cats off the streets that need that help really badly? So be kind to one another. There's room for everyone. Thank you all for an amazing season. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you soon for episode 5. And we hope you like our new theme song. Suno is way too dangerous for me because I keep coming up with new songs. So we put that in here. We hope you like it. And we have an alternate version for the end. So we're going to put that on now. And we'll see you soon for season 5. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Got a mic in the break room, cardboard box, front row seat. Whiskers twitch, we tune the dial, tiny paws on the beat. Beans in a paper cup, names on a paper list. Every stray got a story, and every scratch means this. Come on in, take a listen, hear that purr in the air. They've been waiting all week to tell you what they see there. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Yeah, the Shelter Cats Podcast. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Hurry up, hurry up. They got paws on the answer and a meow that won't quit. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Hurry up, hurry up. Mitten said the mailman's late. Tuxedo says the food's too plain. Orange cat hit the high note, then did it all again. Stray cat story soft and sharp. Quiet laughs in the cage row. Every little rescue moment gotta swing the whole block knows. Come on in, take a listen, hear that purr in the air. They've been waiting all week to tell you what they see there. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Yeah, the Shelter Cats Podcast. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Hurry up, hurry up. They got paws on the answer and a meow that won't quit. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Hurry up, hurry up. One day home, one day free, one day curled in your lap. Till then they hold that corner and they run this little show like that. It's the Shelter Cats Podcast. Yeah, the Shelter Cats